Come on, we better go this way. This used to be one of the town streets. It says North Street. And as you can see, the street is overrun. Hot yellow.
Oh my word!
This used to be a chair.
Oh my god.
This was somebody's lazy boy chair. Look at that. That used to be a kitchen chair, do you see?
Oh my gosh.
Refrigerator. See what's inside.
Ah!
What do you think, 1940?
Well, I've never seen a fridge like that before.
The logo says HH.
This is like toothpicks. Who's ready for a wind to blow and fall over.
From the furniture that we're seeing left behind, it appears this was around 1950 this was abandoned. The entire town went down at once at a poof.
My goodness.
Even way back in the 1950 area, the people didn't take their belongings with them. They're still in these old houses. I mean, how scary is that? People just left all their stuff behind. These were back in the grandma and grandpa days when people didn't throw stuff away. Come on, you can make it.
Oh my gosh, this is something out of the movie Twister.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Tom, careful, this house could fall over at any second. What the heck is this?
An old TV set.
It's like a giant light bulb.
Yeah. This is a circa 1950 television set. As you can see, rusted away to nothing.
Oh.
And we have a stove. That's the oven. I'll grab this here. Here we got the kitchen door, the oven and stove. And very old TV set.
Wow.
That's the number 3 on it. Look at those old TV tubes. Look at that.
It's been here for like 70 years. It's like blew over when my grandma was born.
Far away, at a lonesome spot in northwestern Kansas, down a windy, rarely accessed White Rock Road, sits a melancholy and long forgotten town, abandoned more than 50 years ago, a town named Covert. This area of dusty plains was originally called Kill Creek, because of an Indian massacre which legend says occurred on this spot. In 1864, explorers James Covert and Evie Carr discovered the creek while buffalo hunting and made camp by the tiny stream of water. That night, the Apache Indians attacked, and James Covert was killed by several bow and arrow shots to the chest. Thus, the place became known as Covert's Creek. In 1873, the Postal Service established a log cabin outpost there, and in 1880, the town of Covert was platted. A 6-block village of houses, 2 churches, a store, a hotel, and a bank. The town's claim to fame is the Covert meteorite, a marvelous and mysterious space rock discovered in a crater outside town in 1896. The unique and mesmerizing stone gained attention in 1929 when researcher Harvey Ninninger toured it in a series of lectures from London to California. The meteorite is composed of shiny metal speckles, fused together like grains of sand in a stone block. In certain lighting, it has a shimmering quality. And it also has a curse associated with it. A curse of fire. In 1912, tragedy struck the town of Covert when Hodges Mercantile Store burned down. In 1923, the newly opened Covert Rural High School also burned down. It was rebuilt and then burned down again in 1951. How or why is unknown. On the night of May 31st, 1928, at midnight, the town was woken to a bright orange fire on its skyline. At the Kaiser family farm, the only water source nearby was the small water tower a half-mile away, with no way to reach the farm, and the blaze was well past the point of no return. And so, the town watched in horror as the house burned down to a cinder. In the morning, Albert Kaiser, his wife Nellie, and their 6 children were found in the smoldering ashes. That weekend at the funeral, the townspeople began whispering to each other. Albert Kaiser had been seen quarreling with his brother Fred a few weeks earlier outside the general store. And a neighbor who sifted through the farmhouse ashes said he found revolver shells in the black soot. A fire marshal from the nearest city investigated and determined that the Kaisers had indeed been shot. Fred Kaiser was taken to the nearest courthouse in Osborne City, Kansas, and arraigned for murder. The night before his scheduled trial, Fred wrote a note to his family, telling them he had nothing to do with the fire or the killings. He then went out to his barn and shot himself. The courtroom judge Fred Kaiser had stood before later said on the record that he had never seen a more innocent-looking man in his life. To this day, the Kaiser murders remain a cold case. The curse of Covert's Creek struck again on the night of September 22nd, 1943. During a terrible thunderstorm, a B-24 bomber became separated from its squadron while flying over Covert and crashed just outside town. It seems the crew wrongly assumed that Kansas has a flat topography, and they could fly along the ground to find their way in the darkness. Sadly, the plane slammed into a rising ravine at 250 miles per hour and exploded. The entire hillside caught fire, and the town nearly burned down again. In 1952, after the second school building had burned down, the townspeople voted to disband the school system, effectively ending the community as the last families moved on after that. In 1960, the last store in town shuttered its doors. And in 1966, the post office was permanently closed. The final death blow came in 1992, when a tornado swept away the remaining empty houses. The last attempt to inhabit Covert happened when the Blue Ridge Baptist Church on the county road outside town was transported inside city limits and refurbished into a home. A man named Leonard Thornton was inside it when it burned to the ground. Today we have made the journey to Covert to investigate this 50-year-old mystery for any clues we can discover. And we're inviting you to come along too.
And here we are in the little town of Covert. Major hauntings reported here, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it. Ooh. Hey, you should put a sign next to that that says lemonade, $1.
Perfect day for lemonade. Strawberries for an extra 50 cents.
Strawberries, $5.
Covert Ghost Town. Sweet. Wow. There's even a skeleton head on the building.
This is a pretty rough ghost town. Hotel, a town office, a blacksmith shop, a Bank and Parsons store, a Van Pelt store, and 2 churches.
Ooh, you think they were rival churches?
I'm sure they hated each other's guts.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Covert was a town of peaceful and wonderful people. Unfortunately, the town site itself was haunted beyond belief. And so no one could stay. Yes. Maybe some sort of warning. What's in here? Maybe we can find some old blacksmith tools.
Ooh.
It's an iron rod. This is a welcoming feather. And check this place out.
Oh my gosh.
This appears to be a house that had a basement which collapsed.
Wow. Tom, be careful.
Come on.
Please be careful.
I'll try to be.
Oh.
As you can see, there's still a 1940s refrigerator in the wreckage. Here's what's left of the chimney. I wonder how this survived. Check this thing out.
Wow. What do you think? It's like one of NASA's moon landers. That's a boiler.
The floor of the house must have given way, and it all went down like an avalanche. Here we go. I think that's the stove. Do you see this old table?
Yeah.
This was somebody's home. What happened to them? They didn't take their belongings with them.
Maybe it was a tornado.
Or this could be close to where the meteorite hit. But I gotta find out what this is. You're right, this is the stove.
Okay.
This is an old stove. It makes me wonder what happened to this family that lived here.
No.
Their belongings were left in the house. I think this destruction happened all at once.
Yeah, complete collapse.
There's even cans of food left here.
No way!
Yeah.
Wow. It's a very sad sounding cow.
And birds.
Or maybe it's a happy cow. Maybe that's the sound happy cows make.
I don't think we've heard a happy sound since we got here.
Yeah.
And they're driving to get there.
Oh my!
Was this a signpost? This looks like an old sign holder here. This was an illuminated sign, and I bet that pole was what was holding it.
Oh.
Do you see here? Yeah, that pole held up this sign.
I wonder if this was the blacksmith's house.
I think this may have been the town office.
Oh.
We know that there was a hotel back here that may have been the sign for it. There's an electric sign. There's the guttering for the house.
Do you think that could be mistaken for a ghost? Oh, hey!
The high school burned in a horrible fire.
Who started the fire?
That is not known. It may be what started the fire, if you know what I mean.
Are we headed to Ball?
Down this way.
A white pebbled beach.
You're pretending this is a pebble beach?
Yes.
Here we are.
Wow.
There was 2 churches on this side of the street. And I believe that is ruins from one of them.
What is that? Is that a kettle? Or a gas tank?
It looks like an old kettle. What is this?
Wow, that is a big thing. Whoa! You don't want to fall down there.
You went down there. I don't think anyone would ever see you again.
Bombs away. Like a circus tent over there on the ground.
You think that's a circus tent?
Yeah.
This must have been the church's heating system. And there's another church Down this way. We'll see if anything's left of that. You see these buzzards overhead? I think they're circling us.
Yeah. They're hoping we fall down and don't get up.
Okay, everyone, we have buzzards circling us now. Not a good sign.
They know something we don't.
Here we are, check this out. We have an Osborne County historical marker. Site of the Covert Presbyterian Church and the Covert Methodist Episcopal Church. This must be what's left of the Presbyterian Church. There's nothing left. It's obliterated. Come on, we better go this way. This used to be one of the town streets. It says North Street. Boy, that chimney is hanging on by a thread.
Like right out of the house? It's crazy.
Who knows? Yeah, this place belongs to the trees now.
Yes. The grass is actually pretty comfortable.
Oh no, you're not thinking of going to sleep, are you? Oh my god. What a maelstrom. There's another town street here. Do you see?
Oh yeah.
Another street.
Oh my goodness.
This used to be a thoroughway through the town. This was a street called Liberty. The steps to someone's house. You'd almost walk right past this and not notice it. Imagine it, this was somebody's front door. Oh, goodness. And we found the foundations of someone's house here. Just nothing left. That's the mystery of this place. When the people cleaned out, they left everything behind. Old lantern.
Whoa! Is this the high school?
This is the high school,
Wow.
which burned down many, many years ago. I think this was the cellar door to the school right here. I think this was the storm shelter. You see this?
Whoa.
This concrete block goes over this.
Wow. Whoa. This is how heavy it is. Oh,
Wow,
that's gotta be at least
Wow, you did move
75
that.
pounds.
you're tough.
It's like a kettlebell.
Look at this destruction.
Oh, that one's like super glued in there.
They use super glue on that, huh?
Yeah. Wow.
This is absolute obliteration.
I wouldn't walk on those steps. They don't look safe.
Not safe at all.
Wow.
I'm going anyway. Have to.
Oh, Tom, you're driving me crazy right now. Oh
I know.
my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my. I'll walk up this thing.
All right.
Wow.
Good word.
Wow.
Total wipeout.
Four.
Yeah.
Just pretend you're on a little buggy.
Yes, I'm pretending this is buggy. All right, can you carefully come down? And,
Not fall off this wall.
This used to be the playground equipment. I don't think this school is coming back. I think that's all they wrote.
Whoa, that is solid.
Trying to lift that, huh?
That's not stainless.
You been watching Incredible Hulk?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It looks like a bomb went off inside of it.
It does. Looks like a war zone. It looks like there's another historical marker ahead. Maybe we should check it out. All right, careful climbing this hill. This was the site of the Covert Rural High School.
This is what it looked like.
Yeah. That heap of wreckage used to look like this. The original schoolhouse burned down on December 5th, 1923, and it was replaced and burned down again on October 25th, 1951. It's as if the ground was cursed.
That is quite a coincidence.
Quite a coincidence indeed. Or maybe something didn't want that school there. These vultures are circling.
Yeah, they are.
We better keep moving. These buzzards keep circling us.
They're used to things living out here.
They're already making plans for us. What have we here? This was the town's water tower. Old-timey ladder. I think you've gone far enough, amigo. There's nothing up there for you. You better call it a day, Jose.
Okay.
As we conclude our final report for today's mission, we could find no evidence of a haunting, no black mists or shadows, and we did not meet any ghost along the way. We
We do not believe this land to be cursed per se, but rather contaminated by something alien. A giant meteorite landed here around the turn of the century, or maybe long before that. We wonder if it brought something from outer space. It seems unlikely now that Covert will ever be habitated again. Perhaps it should be that way. Maybe when the original settlers found themselves at a place called Kill Creek, they should have kept their wagons rolling down the trail. Anyway, thank you all for coming along today. I think this mission's a wrap. Over and out.